I hope you're having a good time so far. Are you? Desired outcomes? So we're tidying up our communique, so we appreciate inputs and whatever ideas and suggestions you might have as we get ready for our final plenary and also for our closing ceremony. So we're going to play you some music, give you a little time to toss a few ideas about in your head, and then we'll see how the afternoon progresses after that. Our final plenary comes on in just a little bit as well, so do please relax and enjoy some African music in the interim.
happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Welcome home. Welcome, welcome home. Welcome, welcome home. Welcome, welcome home. Welcome. Come on back, come on back, come on back. Welcome to where you really belong. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Welcome home. Welcome, welcome home. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say
I promised you some African music. I hope you enjoyed the music. Did you? It played over and over, didn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a beautiful, beautiful event so far. It's time now to hear from the Acting Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kwaku Danso, who will read us the communique, and then we'll see what inputs you would want to make before the final. This incorporates all of your inputs, but just in case there's something more to wrap up, to polish up, we'll take that now. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, shall we welcome the Acting Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kwaku Danso.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. I deem it a great honor to present to you the key points and recommendations emerging from the deliberations since yesterday. So, the final communique reads along the following lines. Final communique adopted at the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum on the theme, Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and building peace in Africa, held in Accra from 28 to 29 February 2024. The preamble. Under the leadership of the President of the Republic of Ghana, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and under the chairmanship of the African Union High Representative for Silencing the Guns, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, KIPTC, held the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum, hereafter KAPS Forum, on the theme Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and building peace in Africa, in collaboration with the government of Norway and the federal government of Germany. The KAPS Forum was also honored to host His Excellency Yayi Boni, former President of the Republic of Benin, His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn Boshe, former Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Her Excellency Mrs. Fatoumata C.M. Jallow Tambajang, former Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, and His Excellency, Her Excellency Chief Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Distinguished delegates also included Commissioner Silva Ojako, the Chief of Staff, African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, Commissioner, Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS Commission, and other representatives of government and intergovernmental organizations. United Nations Special Envoys, the diplomatic community, development partners, heads of immigration agencies, security professionals, policy and research think tanks, academia, peacekeeping training institutions, corporate leaders, and other civil society groupings, all participating both in person and virtually. Development of the communique. The final communique is based on deliberations and conclusions at the KAPS forum relating to migration, climate change, and demography. The following sub-themes were discussed either at plenary or syndicate sessions, namely migration, climate change, and conflict in Africa, African leadership and coping mechanisms, building regional capacities to mitigate migration and conflict in Africa, addressing irregular migration, issues and debates, building community resilience against climate change and conflicts, climate change and migration in West Africa, assessing opportunities and pitfalls, and demography and migration in a multipolar world order. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the delegates made the following observations and recommendations for consideration during the KAPS forum. Context. Migration is becoming increasingly necessary for all countries in the ongoing context of globalization, multipolarity, rapid demographic changes, and climate-induced insecurities. Although African states are the least responsible for greenhouse gas emissions, they currently bear the brunt of the impact of climate-induced insecurities that are forcing human population movements on the continent and beyond. Although migration remains a catalyst for economic development and shared prosperity for both origin and destination countries, it has become a highly emotional and sensitive subject that is sometimes misrepresented and instrumentalized to incite fear and outrage. This is posing a veritable threat to the security and rights of migrants while deflecting attention away from the enormous benefits of migration. At the same time, the ECOWAS sub-region is grappling with multiple sources of insecurity that include violent extremism, democratic reversals, and transnational organized criminality. Recommendations. The following recommendations were offered for consideration. 1, national stakeholders in Africa should address the leadership and governance deficits on the continent by promoting democracy, the rule of law, and accountable governance, which are all vital for preventing or addressing the situations that force people to migrate. 2, states in Africa should mainstream climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies into their national development plans as an approach to addressing climate-induced migration within and across the continent. 3, African states should leverage the climate security and migration-related protocols they are party to by identifying and removing the barriers to their implementation. 4, national and regional stakeholders should prioritize African independence in the articulation, ownership, funding, and implementation of policies related to climate security, migration, and peace building. 5, states in sub-Saharan Africa and their counterparts in the Maghreb, Middle East, Europe, and North Africa should strengthen multilateral cooperation to protect the rights of refugees and other migrants in their countries. 6, African states and the regional economic communities should facilitate the transformation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement into a catalyst for structural change and economic transformation through genuine open borders, deeper integration, and enhanced regional value chains that retain talents on the continent. International cooperation should be strengthened to address the lopsided impact of climate change on African states, which have been least responsible for greenhouse gas emissions. 8, scholars and policymakers should decriminalize and decolonize migration to reflect the fact that states at all income levels are now origin, transit, and destination countries. African states and the regional economic communities should mainstream indigenous mechanisms of peace, justice, and security that are based on whole of society and person-to-person approaches to conflict transformation in order to generate widely inclusive solutions that can bolster state and societal resilience against armed violence. To effectively implement the ECOWAS protocol relating to the free movement of persons, as well as the AF-CFTA agreement, ECOWAS should facilitate improved border security management through capacity building and information sharing among relevant agencies in the sub-region. ECOWAS and its member states should prioritize the transformation of farmer-herder conflicts, which have emerged as one of the most potent sources of threat to security in the region. 12, African states should provide broader opportunities for the youth and center youth participation in governance processes. 13, given that women bear the brunt of climate-induced insecurities, their needs and priorities should be integrated into mitigation and adaptation measures. And 14, the final recommendation, institutions of thought leadership, such as the KIPTC, should continue to prioritize research, debates, and policy dialogues on migration, climate security, and societal resilience in Africa. Thank you for your attention.
So that was our Acting Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kweku Danso, with the communique so far. If there is anything you would like to add, input, subtract, we'll give you a mic and you'll tell us what you think should be put on there. Any hands? Oh, microphone, please. One moment, please, Your Excellency. We'll get you a microphone.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of comments on the missing links. One, in the preamble, we need to include the name of the UNOWAS.
One moment, please. Dr. Danso. Do I have your attention? So in the preamble.
The name
yes,
of Her Excellency also, for the UN Special Secretary General, representative of the Secretary General, for the Horn of Africa. Then we need to include women in the governance. You've said youth, but you have forgotten women. You also need to look at the issue of in the context or preamble, wherever you want to make it. I think perhaps both in the context and the preamble, you need to put either you call it bad governance or poor governance, because you have to synchronize your recommendations with the context. So one of the factors was about poor governance, whichever you want to use, poor or bad governance. Then it will go with the recommendation about improving governance. The fundamental issue of implementation also is missing, that we have a lot of instruments. The issue is domestication and implementation. I will rest my case for the time being. If I have any other thing, perhaps I can send it underneath.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Any further suggestions, please?
Another one is His Excellency, AU Special Representative to the AU of silencing the guns, but also chairman of this third edition. That we need to put it for the records. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Shall we put our hands together for that input? Any further suggestions, please? Any further comments? Is that a hand up, I see? Will that be all? Going? Gone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's our communique, which we will finalize and present to you in just a little bit. Are we ready for the closing ceremony? We are? Dr. Emma? Okay, she's got her fingers up, saying 5 minutes, I think. Well, it's been a wonderful conference so far, has it not? I've enjoyed myself steering affairs. My name's Jackie Ankra, and when I'm not here emceeing, I'm usually singing or acting or working on radio and television. So if you would like to follow me, you may do so at Say Jackie Ankra, SAYJACKIEANKRAH. So now that they've left me to speak, you may like my music and follow and comment. One more, microphone please. Oh, Dr. Emma, Dr. Danso must return. There's one more. I'll take that down, recognition of. What, us? Oh, thank you.
For the records, we need to recognize the wonderful job that you have done.
Thank
I
you
am
very
so,
much.
all of us here, especially the women, we are very proud of you. That we can leave a legacy of young women who can take charge of the African narrative.
Oh, thank you. So, Dr. Danso, don't forget to put that in there. So what should we do while we wait? Oh, no. But there's no piano. There's no. What do you want, a cappella? Oh. Oh. I will be back after the break. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, partners, friends, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredibly stimulating 2 days of conference we've had. And finally, we've come to the closing. So this will be our closing ceremony. We've been joined by our guest of honor for this event, the Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, Defense Minister. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause? We would like to present some gifts. Mr. Minister, would you join us, please, and do the honors?
The first person that we would like to call to come for a little present from the KIPTC is Ambassador Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, the Commissioner of Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS, who has been really supportive. Shall we give him a round of applause, please? Shall we give him another round of applause, please? Then, one person who has been very supportive of KIPTC and most of our programs has been the Special Envoy of the UN Secretary General for the Horn of Africa, Her Excellency Ms. Hannah Sewa Tete. Shall we give her a round of applause to show appreciation for all the support that she's given to us through the years, with her presence, her contributions. Thank you. Yeah.
And she has such a brilliant mind. Another round of applause.
We also have a present for Her Excellency Ms. Sivine Jensen, who is the Deputy Head of Mission, German Embassy. She's not here at the moment, but her present will be collected on her behalf by Ms. Teresa Kraft, who is the Head of Component Support to KIPTC, ECOWAS, Peace and Security Architecture and Operations. Shall we give them a round of applause? Germany has been one of our greatest supporters and partners throughout the years, and we are immensely grateful. We also have someone that we are getting to know day by day, who is the former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency Chief Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, who has been supportive. Her contributions have been exceptional. She's been a champion for women throughout the ages, and we are very grateful for her support and for coming here to KIPTC. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. You can see that the women are getting the bigger presents. The men will give you small, tiny ones. It's deliberate. We also have with us one amazing woman who is also the former Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Her Excellency Mrs. Fatoumata C.M. Jallo Tambajan, who has been amazing providing her input. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Please, let's give her a round of applause, especially the men. You need to be clapping for her. Amazing.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Democracy, don't forget about the women and the young people.
She's still contributing even as she leaves the stage. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We have presents for...
Excellency Mother.
Thank you so much, Mommy. We had some presents as well for Commissioner Silva Ojako, as well as Her Excellency Madame Fatou Diallo Ndiaye from the IUM. But I think they are not represented here at the moment, and so we'll keep their presents and have it delivered to them. But we thought it was important to still mention it to you all. One person that has been very supportive of KAPS as patron throughout the years, always present for us, supporting us, accompanying us to see all our guests, has been His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers. Please, shall we give him a round of applause? And for those of us at the KIPTC, shall we stand up and give him a standing ovation? He's been more than a patron to us. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We really appreciate the support. And he gets a small one, even though he's a patron. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Don't go just yet, sir. Sir, as patron of KAPS, we would like you to do one presentation for us. To the Minister for Defense, who is also the chair of the governing board of the KIPTC. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is to inform you that we've added the suggestions and contributions for the communique. So the communique will be signed, but we will send you copies via email so that you can have a look and make sure that all your contributions are on there. We extend our deep gratitude to all our partners and sponsors, and to you for taking time off your busy schedules to be here for the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum 2024. The Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum 2024 was made possible with funding from the governments of Norway, the governments of Germany, and the Ghana government. We'd also like to thank our virtual participants. It's been wonderful having you all. Even though we couldn't see you, we felt your presence, our online participants. And you've been such a marvelous, marvelous audience. Shall I call you that? You're actually participants, so you're not exactly an audience. Why don't you give yourselves a huge, rousing applause to the management and staff of the KAIPTC. This has been a wonderful job indeed, and we appreciate all of your hard work, all the staff, all the management, hard work indeed. We couldn't have done this without your tremendous effort, so you deserve some applause too.
There's an Akan proverb. I'm going to try and say it. My father is not here, so if I make a mistake, I won't get into trouble.
He may be watching.
Sankofa. If you forget something and you go back for it, you haven't done too much wrong.
It is Yenchi.
Yenchi. So there has been one other amazing person who has been here throughout the last couple of days, supporting us with her contributions. We would like to invite again our patron to help us do this presentation, please. And this gift goes to Madam Josephine Nkrumah. Her Excellency, Madam Josephine Nkrumah, who is the ECOWAS representative for Liberia, a strong women's advocate. Please, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Chambers.
And at this point, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite again the Acting Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kwaku Danso, to present the communique. No, he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we put our hands together for the Acting Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kwaku Danso, here now with the communique, KAPS 2024.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. Before I proceed to present the final communique, let me please render my most sincere apologies for the dignitaries that were left out when we acknowledged them earlier. And I would like to acknowledge Her Excellency Hannah Sewatete, the UN Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa, and also the chairperson of the third edition of the KAPS Forum, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers. Thank you very much indeed. Your Excellencies, the Honorable Minister for Defense, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to present to you the final communique of the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum, the KAPS Forum. I read the communique. The final communique adopted at the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum on the theme Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and building peace in Africa, which was held in Accra on 28 and 29 February 2024. The preamble. Under the leadership of the President of the Republic of Ghana, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and under the chairmanship of the African Union High Representative for Silencing the Guns, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, KIPTC, held the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum, hereafter the KAPS Forum, on the theme Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and building peace in Africa, in collaboration with the government of Norway and the federal government of Germany. The KAPS Forum was also honored to host His Excellency Yayi Boni, former President of the Republic of Benin, His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn Boucher, former Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Her Excellency Mrs. Fatoumata C.M. Jallow Tambajan, former Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, former Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, of the Republic of Liberia. My sincere apologies. My sincere apologies, Your Excellency. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, who is also the chairperson of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum. Distinguished ladies also included Her Excellency Hannah Sewa Tete, who is the Special UN Envoy to the Horn of Africa, Commissioner Silva Ojako, the Chief of Staff, African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, Commissioner, Political Affairs, Peace and Security of the ECOWAS Commission, and other representatives of government and intergovernmental organizations, United Nations Special Envoys, the diplomatic community, development partners, heads of immigration institutions, security professionals, policy and research think tanks, academia, peacekeeping training institutions, corporate leaders, and other civil society groupings participating both in person and in virtual. Development of the communique. The final communique is based on deliberations and conclusions at the KAPS Forum relating to migration, climate change, and demography. The following sub-themes were discussed either at plenary or syndicate sessions: migration, climate change, and conflict in Africa, African leadership and coping mechanisms, building regional capacities to mitigate migration and conflict in Africa, addressing irregular migration and transnational organized crimes in a multipolar world, gender, youth, and migration issues and debates, building community resilience against climate change and conflicts, climate change and migration in West Africa, assessing opportunities and pitfalls, and demography and migration in a multipolar world order. The delegates made the following observations and recommendations during the KAPS Forum. Context. Migration is becoming increasingly necessary for all countries in the ongoing context of globalization, multipolarity, rapid demographic changes, and climate-induced insecurities. Although African states are the least responsible for greenhouse gas emissions, they currently bear the brunt of the impact of climate-induced insecurities that are forcing human population movements on the continent. This is posing a veritable threat to the security and rights of migrants while deflecting attention away from the enormous benefits of migration. Although the 1979 ECOWAS protocol relating to the free movement of persons, the rights of residents and establishments have been critical in improving free movement of people within the sub-region, its implementation is characterized by multiple challenges that undermine effective regional trade, regional economic integration, and development. At the same time, the ECOWAS sub-region is grappling with multiple sources of insecurity that include violent extremism, democratic reversals, and transnational organized criminality. Moreover, even though the ECOWAS and its member states have adopted multiple protocols and frameworks aimed at addressing issues relating to migration, insecurities, and climate change, their implementation have been bedeviled by multiple challenges. Recommendations. The following recommendations were offered for consideration. National stakeholders in Africa should address the leadership and governance deficits on the continent by promoting democracy, the rule of law, and accountable government, which are vital for preventing or addressing the situations that force people to migrate. States in Africa should mainstream climate change, mitigation, and adaptation strategies into their national development plans as an approach to addressing climate-induced migration within and across the continent. 3, African states should leverage the climate security and migration-related protocols and frameworks that they are party to by identifying and removing the barriers to their implementation. National and regional, that's point 4, national and regional stakeholders should prioritize African independence in the articulation, ownership, funding, and implementation of policies related to climate security, migration, and peace building. States in sub-Saharan Africa and their counterparts in the Maghreb, Middle East, Europe, and North Africa should strengthen multilateral cooperation to protect the rights of refugees and other migrants in their countries. Point 6, African states and the regional economic communities should facilitate the transformation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement into a catalyst for structural change and economic transformation through genuine open borders, deeper integration, and enhanced regional value chains that retain talents on the continent. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I move on to point 8. 2.7 actually. International cooperation should be strengthened to address the lopsided impact of climate change on African states and their societies, which have been least responsible for greenhouse gas emissions. Point 8, scholars and policymakers should decriminalize and decolonize migration to reflect the fact that all states at all income levels are now origin, transit, and destination countries. Point 9, African states and the regional economic communities should mainstream indigenous mechanisms of peace, justice, and security that are based on whole of society and person-to-person approaches to conflict transformation in order to generate widely inclusive solutions that can bolster state and societal resilience against armed violence. Point 9, to effectively implement the ECOWAS protocol relating to the free movement of persons, as well as the AFCFTA agreement, ECOWAS should facilitate improved border security management through capacity building and information sharing among the relevant agencies within the sub-region. ECOWAS and its member states should prioritize the transformation of former header conflicts, which have emerged as one of the most potent sources of threat to security in the West African sub-region. African states should provide broader opportunities for the youth and center youth participation in governance processes. Point 14, institutions of thought leadership, such as the KIPTC, should continue to prioritize research, debates, and policy dialogue on migration, climate change, security, and social resilience. Point 15, women should be centered in governance processes in order to bring their priorities and needs to the developmental and governance agenda. The last point, African countries should prioritize the implementation of the protocols and related frameworks that they have signed. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kweku Danso. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the communique for the third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum. Shall we put our hands together for all of our hard work? We couldn't have made it without you. We couldn't have come this far without you, ladies and gentlemen. Do please accept our deep gratitude for attending, for participating, for supporting the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum 2024. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, friends, partners, ladies and gentlemen, with the greatest pleasure, I would like to call upon our guest of honor, the Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, Minister for Defense, to conduct the official closing ceremony. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause?
Thank you very, very much. Her Excellency, Mrs. Fatimata Jallo Tambajang, former Vice President of the Republic of Gambia. Her Excellency, Chief Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, African Union High Representative for Silencing the Guns and the Chairman of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum. Well, many of you don't know, I took over from Dr. Chambers as the MP for Bimbala, and I'm very proud of that. His Excellency Musa Faki Muhammad, Chairperson, African Union Commission. Her Excellency Fatou Diallo Ndaye, Chief of Mission Ghana, Togo, and Benin International Organization for Migration. Commissioner Silva Ojako, Chief of Staff, African Continental Free Trade. His Excellency Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, my good friend, Commissioner, Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS. Her Excellency Madam Hannah Tete Sewa, Special Envoy of the UN General Secretary for the Horn of Africa. Her Excellency Joseph Nkrumah, ECOWAS representative in Liberia. Josephine Nkrumah, yes, I've given you the name Joseph. Security High Command present here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, my dear Commandant, Kofi Annan International Peace Training Center, Major General Richard Adojani, the staff and members of the Kofi Annan International Peace Training Center, distinguished invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to represent the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces at the closing ceremony of the 2024 KAPS Forum. Let me say that over the last 2 days, a number of tropical issues have been discussed, and I have no doubt that the deliberations on the critical issue of migration and societal resilience were intensive and fruitful. The discussions have highlighted our awareness about the emerging dynamics of immigration in Africa and the role of various stakeholders in addressing these challenges. Let me take this opportunity to commend all of you for the effort which has culminated in crafting the key policy recommendations captured in the communiqué. The representation from key institutions, including but not limited to the United Nations, the AU and ECOWAS, and various embassies and high commissions, as well as the academia and key policy institutions, attest to the sustained interest in addressing the phenomenon of migration and associated challenges. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, beyond the central theme of migration and societal resilience in a multipolar world order, the two-day forum has also paid particular attention to a number of interconnected issues, including climate change, conflict, issues of gender and youth, transnational organized crimes, amongst others. The interconnection between these issues and the phenomenon of migration suggests that governance and security challenges confront our dear continent, particularly West Africa. Indeed, failure to put in place the necessary governance structures to reduce the desire to engage in illegal migration will continue to have dire consequences on the security of Africa, and particularly West Africa. And of course, the youth who take the risk to travel across the deserts, but regrettably get drawn in oceans and rivers and die in the deserts. And I listened to my good friend Musa yesterday, and I was pained when he put the issues very up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very clear from events within the ECOWAS sub-region over the last 4 years that we need to put good governance issues in the front burner. Nothing more, nothing less. We must let our voices be heard on the demand of our people for good governance from our leaders, and the need to respect term limits for every president, every prime minister, and every head of government to ensure the survival of democracy. We cannot and should never encourage the emerging trend where leaders extend or try to extend their term limits that do not conform to the constitution of their various countries. That we should not agree. That we should stand against, and that we should fight for. Good governance across Africa would ensure rapid development, which ultimately will lead to increased development and jobs for the youth, thereby reducing migration. Africa has everything. From its people, warm people, useful generation, the land, very fertile land. All you need is to pluck off a tree or pluck off a grass and plant a fruit, or plant cassava, or plant yam. Very fertile land. The example of Congo is sickening. The example of DR Congo is sickening. Central Republic is sickening. We have land, we have the people, we have the weather, we have rivers, we have everything God has given us to make and transform our countries into a place where our youth, our mothers, our sisters will stay, where we can be proud as people. But what do we see? Lack of good governance is causing our young people to migrate, to become slaves, and to be treated as second citizens in many, many countries. You just need to see what is happening to some of the young girls who are serving as sex slaves, who are serving as domestic workers. The harrowing stories they tell and the way they are treated will tell us that it is time for Africans to wake up and give governance, good governance. Nothing more, nothing less. That we should demand. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, despite the challenges associated with migration as highlighted in the various sections, it was reassuring to hear discussions on building regional capacities to mitigate migration and conflict in Africa. To this end, I urge regional, continental, and global institutions to redouble their efforts in developing and supporting strategic initiatives to minimize these challenges. However, and more importantly, as indicated earlier, capacities of African states to address the phenomenon of migration and related challenges will be dependent on establishing good governance structures that are effective, responsive, and that seek to reduce poverty and unemployment, especially among the young people. At the same time, robust structures that can mitigate the effects of climate change, drought, and flooding should be given utmost attention as a way of building resilient communities and states. Your Excellencies, I humbly wish to remind all stakeholders about the recommendations captured in the communique and the report that will be produced subsequently. While we continue to engage in robust discussions on the key issues highlighted, I would also like to encourage practitioners and decision makers like myself and all others to find the means to implement these key recommendations. Let me also commend the KIPTC for bringing all the dignitaries together and for the conduct of yet another successful KAPS forum on the important subject of migration and societal resilience. Finally, as the chair of the KIPTC governing board, I would like to express my gratitude to the governments of Norway and Germany and all other partners for their generous financial support, which culminated into the successful organization of this year's KAPS Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I have the singular honor to declare the 2024 KAPS Forum officially closed. Somebody just whispered to me that we rather had a short time together. We would have wished to talk more, but unfortunately, it's officially closed. I wish you well. I wish you a safe journey back to your countries. And if you decide to stay in Ghana for another 2 days, please go to Makola and enjoy the life of a Ghanaian. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dominic Nitiwo, Minister for Defense, Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful beginnings lead to beautiful endings, and all good things must come to an end. This is the end of the 3rd edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum. Thank you very much for coming. We wish you safe journey, and if you're staying, a pleasant stay. I'm Jackie Ankara, and I look forward to seeing you again at the next KAPS Forum. God bless you. Peace and many blessings. Any announcements? Any announcements? Any announcements? There'll be snacks outside and photographs. Don't forget to smile broadly.
One love pour nos mamans Africa. Kumasi, Osei, Grum, Charlie. J'y vais depuis que je suis môme, c'est Waté. Oh, and you n'était Abba. Et c'est même pas du Azonto, c'est ça. Mon passeport est français. Charlie, mais je sais d'où je viens. Je suis fier de mon pays, fier de mon Ghana, fier de mon ethnie, fier d'être Ashanti, fier de mes sœurs, fier de mes frères. On avance tous ensemble. Charlie, one love.